At dawn, just miles from Moscow, a secret missile command hub came under fire. Ballistic missiles launched, drones swarmed the sky, and within minutes, the balance of power began to shift. What happened next may redefine modern warfare.
At exactly 5:40 a.m., as first light barely filtered through the dense forests east of Moscow, the silence shattered. What moments earlier had been a frozen, watchful calm around the Zertskinsky missile division erupted into chaos. The earth convulsed as Russian long-range brigades unleashed a coordinated counterstrike, firing from 3 separate directions almost simultaneously. Iskander ballistic missiles clawed skyward, their exhaust trails slicing through the dawn, while BM-30 Smerch rocket systems thundered from concealed forest positions. This was not reactive fire. This was a deliberate, rehearsed response, built on speed, cost, and shock. Each missile carried a price tag measured in millions, but the cost was irrelevant compared to what lay beneath the forest canopy. Buried deep within this region sat one of Russia's most critical nuclear command hubs. What unfolded in those opening minutes was not a skirmish on a fluid front line. It was a defensive gambit designed to protect the nerve center of Moscow's strategic missile forces. The objective was clear: stall Ukraine's advance, fracture its drone corridors, and buy enough time to reposition assets that could not afford exposure. But the battlefield no longer belonged to whoever fired first. As the last Russian rockets arced toward their targets and smoke rolled across the treetops, Ukraine moved. Not with hesitation and not with massed armor, but with eyes in the sky. Within minutes, waves of reconnaissance and attack UAVs surged forward, slipping between lingering rocket contrails and drifting debris. These drones did not hunt blindly. They mapped. Every launch flash, every thermal bloom, every electromagnetic signature was captured and streamed in real time to command nodes miles away. What Russia had revealed in fire, Ukraine now turned into data. Coordinates flowed directly to Patriot air defense batteries and M270 MLRS units positioned well behind the front. The response was immediate and surgical. Patriot interceptors launched vertically, punching through cloud layers before pivoting sharply to meet incoming threats. Russian rockets disintegrated midair, detonating harmlessly above the forest canopy. Almost simultaneously, MLRS salvos roared outward, saturating Russian launcher positions still glowing from their initial volleys. Several Smerch units were destroyed before crews could even reload. This was not suppression. It was rollback. Above the battlefield, the sky transformed into a layered arena of speed and deception. Ukrainian Su-30 SM fighters screamed low over the treetops, their engines ripping through the air as they escorted UAV swarms deeper into contested space. Flares burst outward in blinding arcs, baiting Russian air-to-air missiles into wasting themselves on empty heat signatures. From distant rear bases, MiG-31 interceptors surged forward at supersonic speed, their radars hunting aggressively. But Ukraine did not retreat from the engagement. Its pilots closed distance, forcing compressed, chaotic air battles where reaction time mattered more than raw speed. Decoy drones flooded radar screens, jamming locks and fracturing targeting solutions. Within minutes, a multi-layered air corridor took shape. UAVs pressed ahead, Patriots formed an invisible shield behind them, and manned fighters guarded the flanks. The sky was no longer neutral ground. It was a controlled kill zone, and Ukraine was setting the tempo. With the airspace contested but shielded, the war shifted dimensions. What had begun in fire and altitude now drove downward. Ground forces that had been pinned under missile threat finally found a corridor forward. The operation transitioned seamlessly from aerial dominance to something far more dangerous, a breach of one of Russia's most fortified zones. The first machines to move were not tanks and not soldiers. Autonomous ground assault robots crawled forward through mine-infested terrain at a deliberate pace, their armored frames absorbing shocks that would have obliterated human crews. These hybrid platforms combined the protection of light armor with the tools of combat engineers. As they advanced, mines detonated beneath reinforced hulls. Grenade launchers barked methodically, shredding steel-reinforced wire and clearing narrow lanes through obstacles designed to stall entire battalions. Behind them came the armor. BMP-2 and BMP-3 infantry fighting vehicles surged into the breach, engines roaring as they funneled through newly opened gaps. Hatches burst open under suppressive fire, and mechanized infantry spilled out into the smoke. Engagement distances collapsed to hundreds of yards, then dozens. Russian artillery nests hidden along the tree line opened fire, only to be rapidly targeted and silenced. What followed was not maneuver warfare. It was close, violent, and relentless. Above this chaos, loitering munitions descended, Suicide drones skimmed just feet above the ground, locking onto thermal signatures and radio emissions. Panzer S air defense systems tried to reposition, but it was too late. Drone warheads slammed directly into radar arrays and command relays, erupting in fireballs that tore through the defensive screen. Cornet anti-tank teams vanished in flashes of light as tree-lean positions collapsed. What had once been considered an impenetrable belt of defenses disintegrated under the combined pressure. The outer perimeter burned. Bunkers ignited. Ammunition caches cooked off in violent secondary explosions. Smoke poured from shattered firing ports as Ukraine advanced deeper into the missile division's grounds. The fighting was brutal and unforgiving, but momentum never wavered. Fire from above, steel from below, and machines driving straight through the middle forced Russia's defenders backward. And then the sky ignited again. As Ukrainian columns pushed forward, Su-30M fighters arced overhead at blistering speed, shielding the advance. From the opposite horizon, Russian Mi-28 attack helicopters skimmed low, unleashing rockets into suspected staging points before veering away behind curtains of flares. Moments later, Su-35 fighters streaked in from high altitude, launching long-range missiles designed to rip open Ukraine's drone network and shatter the precision that had driven the assault this far. Ukraine answered with cold discipline. Patriot Pack, 3 launchers repositioned on mobile platforms, roared to life miles behind the front. Interceptors climbed vertically, cutting through contrails to meet incoming missiles at closing speeds beyond Mach 5. At the same time, swarms of decoy drones flooded the airspace, transmitting false signatures that lured Russian pilots into firing blindly. The sky filled with phantoms. Radar returns blurred. Targets dissolved into noise. For soldiers on the ground, the air above became both shield and hazard. Contrails crisscrossed like jagged scars overhead. Sonic booms rattled already shattered bunkers. Smoke pillars marked where jets and missiles fell. The battle had evolved into a high-altitude maze, denying Russia clean dominance while buying precious cover for the advancing assault. Under this airborne storm, Ukrainian armor pressed on. T-80 tanks and BMP. 3 carriers advanced in a hammer and anvil formation, grinding through forest soil and onto the outer approaches of the missile compound. Tanks moved in staggered leaps, laying down suppressive fire while infantry dismounted into trench networks left behind by retreating defenders. Every dugout became a fight. Every bunker demanded coordination. Infantry squads advanced in 6 to 8 man teams, hugging cover as autocannons pried open stubborn strongpoints. Cornet missiles craquaient de renforced position. Grenades and smoke sealed off resistance before defenders could regroup. A farmhouse became a sniper nest one moment, and a smoking ruin the next. Armor pinned from one direction, while infantry cut escape routes from another. By the hour's end, the outer trench system collapsed into silence. What remained was no longer a defensive line, but a tightening noose. Ukrainian armor held the perimeter, while infantry cleared remaining pockets. The advance had ceased to be exploratory. This was now a siege, squeezing inward toward the hardened core of the missile division. And the battle went underground. Beneath the shattered surface lay tunnels, blast doors, and reinforced silos designed to survive nuclear shockwaves. Here, Russia committed its missile special forces, veteran infantry trained to fight in confined, lightless spaces. Corridors became kill zones. Crossfires erupted at every intersection. Fragmentation grenades turned tight passageways into traps. Ukraine adapted again. Compact reconnaissance robots rolled ahead into darkness, their cameras feeding real-time imagery back to assault teams stacked behind bulkheads. FPV drones no larger than backpacks darted down stairwells and service shafts, mapping booby traps and firing slits before a single soldier moved. When threats were marked, assault teams surged forward with flashbangs, smoke, and disciplined bursts, overwhelming defenders in seconds. The objective here was not annihilation. Ukraine avoided wholesale destruction, bypassing demolition charges and jamming detonators with electronic warfare tools. Communications rooms were seized intact. Guidance consoles remained standing. Even partial missile systems were preserved for intelligence exploitation. Losses were minimized through methodical clearing, not brute force. Above ground, armor sealed tunnel exits. Below, engineers marked cleared zones inch by inch. The pace was exhausting. The implications were profound. Russia's long-range deterrence had been weakened. A fortress once believed untouchable had fallen, not through sheer firepower, but through speed, coordination, and layered warfare. Drones, robots, fighters, and infantry had operated as one system. In the age of autonomous machines and precision strikes, the question lingered heavily over the battlefield. Can any fortress still claim safety? As smoke rose thousands of feet above shattered silos, soldiers from both sides carried the wounded together. Victory and compassion merged into a single enduring image. The lesson of modern war was clear. Speed decides, coordination conquers, and even in the darkest battles, humanity